Good day, grade 12. My name is Carden Madzokere. I'm the author and publisher of the Distinction Bound Student Textbooks, and welcome to Possible Essay number 4 for paper 1. So after this, we have 2 more to go. Right, so it says here, discuss in detail the state's macroeconomic objectives. Now, this is basically the easiest, I guess. Okay, so there's a mnemonic for this. It's IFEP. So we'll start with E. Okay, but you don't say IFEP. That's just a mnemonic. It helps you to remember. If you are going to write it somewhere, just write it somewhere. But don't put it in your official answer to say, here's my answer, IFEP. Because they don't know what you're talking about. Even if they knew, like I wouldn't mark Elena right for saying macroeconomic objectives are IFEP. No, it's wrong. That's just helping you to remember. Okay, so you will have to define whatever it is that you think is important for you to define. Here's my suggestion here. Right, so we'll start with the first one. So the first one is economic growth. So basically here, government has goals, but yes, let's call them macroeconomic objectives. The things that they feel like these are the most important things that we should work on. If we work on this, our economy will do well. So the first thing that they work on or that they intend to achieve is economic growth. Well, it makes sense for a country to target that as their main goal. Okay, so economic growth. So they want from time to time, they want to see growth in the economy. So that's why they will measure economic activity. So they would use 3 methods: income method, production method, expenditure method. From time to time, they are tracking to see what is production this year. How much did we produce? What's the value of all that we produced in 2012, 2013? How about now, 2024? What's the value of all that we are producing? And they do it quarter on quarter. The first quarter of the year, what was production then? They collect figures, they work it out. So they would use our methods, the formulas. I'm not going to talk about that. Like what I mean is primary sector plus secondary plus tertiary equal to GDP at basic prices plus taxes on products minus subsidies on products equal to GDP at market prices. So they use that, they try to see. Now, not forgetting something, they also have to check, make use of current and constant prices. So when they want to talk about this particularly growth, they don't have to use current prices. They would have to use constant prices. So they'll have to hold prices constant to a base year. I think you know the drill. So we then call that real GDP. So the one I'm saying current prices, that's nominal GDP. It is misleading. So they don't use that. Okay. Now, you're not talking about this in this essay. I'm giving you background so that you understand where we're going. So the first one is economic growth. So basically, government intends to see or strives to see that our economy is growing. So I gave you a couple of points. Take note of all the bold phrases or words. It is very, very vital for you to talk about that. The next one is full employment. So with regards to full employment, basically we are saying anyone that's willing and able to work should be able to get a job or create employment for themselves. So we do not have 100% employment in South Africa. We have around about 32%, meaning a lot still needs to be done for government to realize this goal of full employment. So also, even if we were to say now we have 100%, it doesn't mean everyone in the country is working. It simply means everyone who's willing and able is working. So basically, that's the economically active population. So if EAP is 5 or 10 million, and if 10 million of those are working, then we have 100% of full employment. So in a country that is around about 60 million people, 10 million people would make us say we have 100% of full employment, because the other 50 million would not be economically active for different reasons. Maybe they are still in school, they are babies, and so on, or they are old, or they are disabled, something, whatever it is. There are people who are economically inactive. So we are talking about economically active population here. The next one is exchange rate stability. Well, exchange rate stability basically means that is the rand stable? So the Reserve Bank tries to ensure, because that's one of their key mandates, to ensure that they safeguard the value of the rand. So how the rand trades with other countries. So it's basically appreciation and depreciation. So yes, we know that there's fluctuations in for on the foreign exchange market, and those fluctuations are very, very frequent. So we say forex is highly volatile. So it doesn't mean that the rand must not go up and down, but its volatility, because the volatility on the foreign exchange market is inevitable. There is no way a currency can just be stagnant. It will go up and down one way or the other, but the direction ultimately. So if we look at it, went up and down today, but how did it close? Did it go down today? So if the rand continuously lose its value over time, basically that's what we mean by the rand is not stable. Okay, the next one is price stability. Price stability would be one of the easiest things you can ever talk about, because basically it's talking about inflation. So inflation is the general increase in prices over time, and it should be significant, considerable, and it's basically prices in general. So we use CPI to measure this, and there's a target which is 3 to 6%. So if ever inflation is within that target, then we say that our prices are stable. And currently we are around about 4.4%, which is extremely good. It's around about the midpoint. Then the last one is equality in the economy, so economic equity. Now our Gini coefficient is around about 0.63 at the moment, the latest information I have, and that's kind of bad, because it's closer to 1. When our Gini coefficient is closer to 1, it's an indication that the rich in this country are very rich and the poor are very poor. So the gap must be bridged. And so is government sitting and doing nothing? Nope. Government is working hard on this. They have a couple of ways in which they are doing this. They have a progressive income tax system, which is charging high income earners more tax than low income earners. We also have social grants. We have a lot of things, benefits in kind. We have learners eating at school, we have learners not paying school fees. We have people going to hospitals for free. All this is to try and bridge the gap. We have people having government build houses for them. We have people having subsidized housing. We have people having subsidized utilities like electricity, water, etc. Government does this all to try and redistribute the income and wealth. So that will improve our Gini coefficient. And I think that's the end. So the next essay would then be, look here, I'm just saying IFEP. Right, so the next essay is going to be discussing detail factors that contribute to public sector failure. Okay, so this has brought us to the end of this particular lesson, and thank you so much. I really appreciate. I see the views are just crazy right now, and I just want to say thank you guys. Continue watching. God bless.